Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday weather update and the outlook through until Sunday. We have got a new low pressure system forming in the Tasman Sea. This is going to cross through central New Zealand over the next couple of days. So the upper South Island, lower North Island, the areas that just don't want any more. But the good news is it's not going to linger and it's not going to drop huge amounts of rain, but it could still be enough to cause a few more slips, and we've certainly seen a lot of those lately. Over in Australia, there's a colder change moving through, and that is on its way for New Zealand over the next few days. So let's take a look at the animated wind map. You can see this high pressure zone to the north of the country. That's driving down this warmer, windier nor'wester. That's about to move up the country. Before it does so, an area of low pressure will form here out in the Tasman and come through the middle part of New Zealand. But really the main feature on this map today is what's happening in Australia with this colder southerly, going all the way up to the very north of Australia. I mean, it's getting very close to Darwin, and that's pretty remarkable to see a southerly go that far. So pretty cold weather going inland. It'll be frosty through these areas tonight, and currently mild in the east, caught up in the same nor'wester that's coming to New Zealand, but that cooler change is moving through. Take a look at this. This is the departure from normal. These are great maps at just quickly working out where it's warm and cold. And so where it's red, that's where it's a little bit warmer than usual. Even if you live there, you'll be going, oh, it's a bit warmer today. But the blue indicates that it's going to be cold. So this is today's maximum departure from normal. You can see in this large area here, much cooler than it usually is, 16 degrees, the daytime high right up there. But overnight tonight, that expands right out to the eastern side. So Sydney, and there'll be frosty weather down here as well, but also frosty weather around Alice Springs and through the desert. So this is pretty cold stuff coming in, but it's not a major event, but it's certainly going to drop temperatures, and then it moves towards New Zealand by the end of this week and sort of falls apart. So we'll see a bit of snow on the mountains, great for the ski fields in the South Island. Sorry, North Islanders, not much on the way. There could be a bit of snow this week, maybe sort of higher up, but it's not enough to even be registered on this map just yet. So we're seeing here in the yellow 10 to 15 centimetres coming through. Rain is the bigger feature though, and when that low comes through around Thursday this week, it's going to drive more rain into the North Island. So the most important area here around Takaka, we're looking at about 30 to 35 more millimetres to come through. That's not enough to cause flooding, but it's enough to cause more slips. So there could be still a few more issues around that northwestern corner, not as wet over towards Nelson. In fact, Kaikoura has got wetter weather over there. But the biggest totals, Mount Taranaki, about 50 millimetres for you, and a similar story over here in Eastern Bay of Plenty as that low moves through. If you want the driest weather, come down to Dunedin and Gore and Invercargill, the places to be. So here we are for Wednesday. You can see that new low forming. So the southerly has come through Australia, and now this new low is forming out in the Tasman between that big high and this other high. So northerlies on that side, southerlies on this side. And so temperatures are going to be down all the way up. Even into Queensland, you'll feel that temperature dropping. Very big high pressure coming through Western Australia, and pretty windy and cold around parts of Tasmania and coastal Victoria, and actually coastal parts of New South Wales. Now over in New Zealand, it's a warmer setup with the airflow coming back from the subtropics again. So fairly mild on Wednesday with those windy westerlies blowing through, and the rain moves up the west coast. By Thursday, there is the new low that is moving into New Zealand. So it looks a little big and nasty, but it's not really, but it will be a bit windy and wet here and there. Another sort of period of weather that people might be a bit sick of, unless of course you absolutely love this weather because you're a weather nerd and that's why you're watching this video. So there could be some wet, windy weather coming through as that low moves through. There could be a few warnings, but they should be at the lower end of the scale, but definitely worth keeping an eye on where that goes if you're in one of the areas that's being impacted by slips and flooding. But there's this big high coming in behind it all to settle things down. So as we move to the end of the week, the low crosses New Zealand and changes shape and weakens. The rain comes around now as a southeasterly. That's why Kaikoura was seeing the bigger rainfall total, not Nelson, because now you got all the ranges in the way from that southeasterly flow. Still raining in the lower North Island. That's probably where we're going to get the most amount of sighs and complaints because you've had a lot of rain, and of course the slips we're seeing now showing up, so more problems potentially around the lower part of the North Island. But look at this, the place to be again, the lower portion of the South Island as we head in towards the weekend. Saturday looks like this. High pressure is drifting out from Australia, much drier over there and a lot more settled than it's been. On the New Zealand side, now we've got that southerly flow, so the temperatures are dropping. That's what you'll notice on Saturday. The cooler air, that one that we just talked about in Australia, finally reaches us. So Friday, and then especially here on Saturday, you'll start to feel that southerly coming through. And on Sunday, even more so. The blue line here indicating air thickness, showing that colder airflow sort of taking a bite out of the atmosphere. So many places will be colder as we go through Sunday around New Zealand. A few showers along the eastern side, maybe an isolated shower or two in the Nelson Ranges, but really it's not looking too unsettled on Sunday. But over in Australia, a lot of windy westerlies down here in the Southern Ocean, so nor'westers coming through for this corner. But the next big high building out there in the Indian Ocean, and that is likely to be coming through for both of us, and it looks very spring-like with all those windy westerlies. That's a telltale sign that spring is just around the corner. So that is all from me. I just want to say thank you so much for the incredible feedback on the listener story. The listener is out this week with an 18-month investigative story written by them, not by me, although we are in the story, but it talks about the problems with the New Zealand government's setup with NIWA and Met Service. And this has been going on beyond just Labour. The only complaints we've had so far have been from people who refuse to read the story and think that we're attacking the Prime Minister of New Zealand, which we're not. This has been an issue, as the story says, it's been going on for well over a decade. That's both Labour and National. And this issue is a systemic problem. So please do read the story. Thank you for all the lovely feedback we've had on YouTube in particular, but also through Twitter, Facebook, and directly to us at Weather Watch. We've only had a handful of complaints, and like I say, they're not even interested in reading the story, so probably don't need to waste my time with that. Thank you so much, and also thank you for the donations we received on YouTube. That's really, really sweet of you. Thank you. We will see you again tomorrow with our next update.